What if keeping your house running smoothly had nothing to do with motivation, discipline, or even time, and everything to do with 10 really easy habits done in the right order? You don't have to love cleaning. You just need to do a small set of daily habits that keep everything from sliding. And once those habits are in place, the house basically maintains itself. Okay, so the very first thing that I do, it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with your house, but it totally does. And that is just to get dressed first thing in the morning. Now, if you are already getting dressed to get ready to go to the work, you know that that is sending a signal to your brain like, hey, I'm ready. I'm getting ready for work. This is what we're doing. If you are retired or you're taking care of the kids at home or you just work at home like I do or whatever, changing your clothes sets your brain in motion and is like, yes, like I'm doing the things. I'm ready to get the day going. And I used to like come downstairs in my pajamas and like sit around for a little while and then go up and get dressed. Not anymore. Now I get dressed, I put the clothes in the hamper, I grab anything that needs to come downstairs. Like I grab like my water cup that I always have up there. I'm grabbing anything else that needs to go there. And that is like a little sub tip. If you are doing anytime you're walking past something, grab whatever needs to go to the next spot. And that is just a sort of like life hack to keep the house dressed. But anyway, getting dressed is a signal to your brain that the day has started and it costs you nothing. Now, I make my bed every single day and I was not always like this, but since I started making the bed, I also started a part that a lot of people skip. Now, before I make it, I pull the covers back just to let it breathe for 15 minutes, an hour or so, because your bed actually collects moisture overnight from your body heat, breathing, just from being a warm human, just sleeping for 8 hours. So pulling those covers back lets the moisture escape instead of just trapping it under the duvet all day, which is yucky. Maybe you're familiar with historic Victorian nurse Florence Nightingale. I'm a former emergency nurse and I was obsessed with Florence Nightingale in nursing school. Well, Florence was obsessed with this, by the way. She believed airing out the bedding was a non-negotiable for health. And I have to say, I think she was not wrong. For the very least, for peace of mind. Florence, she walked through military hospitals in the Crimean War with a lamp, reforming healthcare. The very least I can do is just pull back my own duvet for an hour just to let my bed breathe. 1 minute, instant improvement to the entire room. Now, did you know that the National Sleep Foundation actually found that people who make their beds every morning are 19% more likely to sleep well at night? So you're not just tidying, you're setting yourself up for a better tonight. So you just quickly make your bed and you get there when it's time for bed and you're like, this is the place for me to relax. The next thing I do right after the bed is I open every blind in my house. And then I open a lot of the windows, not all of the windows, but I started doing this in January and I don't regret it one bit. Even just 5 minutes of everything open is good because sometimes it is obviously very cold, especially in January. Depending on where you live, that would be like crazy cold, but where I live, it, normally it hovers between like 0 and +5 Celsius, but the fresh air is so good. Again, it's sort of like that signal to your brain, like we are doing things, we are getting fresh air in the house because that is part of a clean house is fresh air. The other thing is the light. Now, natural light does things for your mood and your energy that no amount of tea or coffee can regulate. It actually helps us with our circadian rhythm, which is so good. Now, a lot of people will say like, go outside, get sun in your eyes. And here, unfortunately, that is a little harder to do, but still that daylight, it says to your brain like, hey, I'm awake. And that's one of the things we work on in the Mighty Circle, my membership, which is about decluttering and also about like being healthier. We are working on sleep right now. And one of the great things is getting that light. The other thing is the light helps support your immune function, plus all that fresh air. And honestly, it just makes the house feel alive instead of like a cave. Now, you may know I live on the side of a mountain and I need all the light every single day of the year. We actually get about 4 months of actual sunshine here consistently, and I treat every sunny morning like a personal gift. Every gray morning like today is still better than nothing, but the blinds or curtains, whatever you have being open, is so good. And there's a practical reason too. Now, throwback to my Florence Nightingale video. This is the second time I am mentioning Dear Flo in this. Sunlight is actually a natural disinfectant. Now, UV light actually damages and deactivates viruses and bacteria. So your home is literally cleaner with the curtains open. This is not a soft habit, it's a health habit, and it takes about 90 seconds. And if you do it every day, you will see results. All of these little habits are things that will just elevate your home feeling cleaner and you feeling healthier. So the next one is an after breakfast one. And I don't know if everybody does this, but I love to do a kitchen reset before I do anything else. I think it's so nice just to put the dishes in the dishwasher, quickly wipe the counters, anything that landed on the table or the island or wherever just gets put away. This usually takes like 10 minutes. It's not bad. And it really just helps set the tone for the entire day. And for me, I like to just put my AirPods in. I'll just listen to a podcast or even like my Bible app or something. And I just enjoy the peaceful action of just resetting and cleaning. It's just a very soothing thing to do. It feels like I'm taking care of my space. Plus, a kitchen that is already clean at 8:30 in the morning is a completely different psychological experience than one that has been sitting with breakfast dishes until noon or even dinner. Because instead of repelling you whenever you walk past it, you feel calm instead of guilty for mistreating your dishes. That matters more than people realize. Plus, it also feels really good just when it's time to make lunch or dinner or whatever, just to come into the kitchen and be like, it's ready. It's like a blank canvas. And then you reset it again. And Princeton research shows that clutter reduces performance by 32%. Your brain is processing that mess when you're not even looking at it. It is living in the back of your mind like, this is something I have to do. This is something I have to do. So clearing it early is not just about appearances. It's about protecting your mental energy for the rest of the day. Now this next one, it changed my kitchen more than anything else on this list. And honestly, the kitchen is just the most important room for me. It just is. We'll hear more about that in a minute. But it is to clean as you go. So while something is on the stove, I am putting spices away. While the pasta is boiling, I'm wiping the counter. If something's in the oven, I'm loading the dishwasher. The cooking time is cleaning time. And then by the time dinner is on the table, the kitchen is already 80% reset, and the mess that's left is just the dinner dishes, not the dinner dishes, plus everything from making dinner. If you've ever finished cooking and looked around and thought, who did this? And realized it was you the whole time, and then you can be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should just clean as I go. Also, once you are done dinner, I am the type of person that firmly believes that the cook does not clean. So the good news is, like, the people that are behind you, they have not that much to do because you have cleaned as you've cooked, you've made that decision. And once you start doing it, you make that habit, it becomes automatic. It just feels so good. And it's a real gift to those coming behind you. 1 load of laundry per day. Wash, dry, fold, put away. Same day, every day. And I know there are a lot of people who like to do their laundry one big session at the end of the week, and I respect it. I just can't do it. I just cannot. It's just one of those things where, and I think like when I was a kid, my mom always did like everything on Saturday. And then, when we became teenagers, we just sort of probably did it on the weekend too. But I end up leaving it all, and it just becomes one big mountain of laundry, and it's a nightmare. So for me, I like to just do about one a day. I don't even have to do it every single day personally, because I just wash my own clothes. I washed my husband's keys once, and he was like, I'll just do my own laundry. And I was like, okay. So I do or I do my laundry, I do the towels, I do, sheets, things like that, and the kids do their own. But the main thing is you want to complete the laundry. The load is not done when it comes out of the dryer. It's done when it's back in the drawer of the closet. Everything between the dryer and the drawer is still an open loop, and open loops are exhausted, and I will get to more to that in a minute. Also, remember, the dryer is not a closet. I know it feels like one. It is warm, it is right there, and the clothes are technically clean, but it is not a closet. And let me know, are you team weekly or daily laundry? I want to know what you think is right. I will wait. Change the sheets weekly. This one is non-negotiable for me, and I will tell you exactly why. A study from Kingston University, London, found that pillowcases can contain thousands of times more bacteria than a toilet seat after just 1 week. I know, it's gross, but now you know, and now we can never unknow it. So here we are, knowing this. Now, have you ever been like, but why would the toilet seat be that dirty? I mean, it's really just your legs there. I digress. Anyway, once we know that, we can move on. Weekly sheet changes are so good. I will wash mine, I will dry them and put them straight back on. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like super hot water, because often just the action and the detergent is enough to damage like most of the bacteria in there. And then once they're done, I don't even let them sit in the dryer. I don't fold them. I don't stack them. I literally put them right on my bed while they're still warm. They smell incredible. Your bedroom, I have said this on this channel many times, your bedroom should be your sanctuary. It should be the place at the end of the day where you go and you're like, oh, your bed should be the best part of your day. Fresh sheets are one of life's genuinely underrated pleasures, and they cost you nothing but a very easy habit with just nothing but delight. So change your sheets at least once a week. So I also like to do a weekly meal plan and a fridge audit / clean, which is a really great way to keep one of the potentially grossest spots of the house clean and also keep us fed. So once a week before I grocery shop, I do a fridge audit. I will pull things out. I will get rid of things that are expired, figure out what needs to be used up, and then I build the meal plan around that. And before I add anything new, I just make sure that I am like grabbing like vegetables that are about to go off or whatever. This alone has actually cut our food waste dramatically, because a fridge full of mystery containers and expired condiments is just not just a cold open loop, it's also expensive, and it can be a really gross science experiment. I think we've all been there where we're like, what is that smell? So for the actual meal plan, I use, and this is not sponsored, but I use the Plan to Eat app. I've been using it for a couple of years and it is great. I take pictures of recipes from cookbooks and I throw it in there. I can clip things from the internet and I throw it in there. I even just will make notes and put like pancakes in there. And even like put our recipes in there. It's good. You can drag and drop. It's got the calendar. It can generate your grocery list. It remembers everything you've made before. So I use that. I often on like a Thursday or a Friday will just sort of like develop my meal plan. And I do take into account leftovers and things like that. And it usually takes 20 minutes. I find it quite enjoyable. It really saves me from that 5 p.m. panic of suddenly being hungry, my husband asking what is for dinner, and I'm just like, ugh. Because if you have experienced that kind of stress, you know it is just not good to be starving and having people asking you for food. So I like to be prepared. And then my fridge is also clean. Clip 9 is reviewing tomorrow's schedule. This can be really helpful for like a life hack. Just like, hey, every evening before I wind down, I spend about 5 minutes looking at tomorrow. What's on the calendar? What needs to leave the house? What do I need to prep tonight so tomorrow isn't chaotic? If, say, my son had an appointment, I know that before I go to bed, and not when I'm half asleep, at 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. I need to get everything together. No, it's nice because I am ready because I know what's coming the next day. It's the same with the house. Say you're like, hey, I want to make sure that I am like vacuuming. I want to make sure I know what is for dinner. It's just so helpful. It's not a productivity hack. This is just basic preparation. It takes 5 minutes. It makes the next morning feel so manageable instead of reactive. It stops unpleasant surprises. I use my planner. I love it. I can't even like go to bed if I haven't even just like glanced at what's coming tomorrow. And that is just one of those things that keeps everything running. Now, this last habit is something that holds everything together. Every evening, the house gets a reset. Now, I know a lot of people are like, yay, evening resets. Everybody talks about that. I had the morning reset and the evening reset because we live here. Amazon boxes arrive, things go awry, and I just end up resetting the house. Things get back to where they live. Surfaces get cleared. Amazon boxes get crushed. The dishwasher gets run. And I like to start with an anchor room. So that is the one room that when it is tidy, the whole house feels under control. So maybe your bedroom could be in a state, or your living room looks like a book club exploded. But if the kitchen, which is my anchor room, is clean, I am fine. I am completely fine. I am happy if the kitchen is clean. Now, when it is clean at the end of the day, I feel like I have my life together. I feel like an adult. I feel like everybody is taken care of, even if the rest of the house is a work in progress. Now, you might actually be like, actually, I don't really care if my kitchen is clean or my kitchen is always clean. I actually need my bedrooms clean or the living room. Whatever it is, start there. The last thing you do should be to just make sure your anchor room is clean. So for me, it's the kitchen. And the last thing I do is I fill my kettle. I have an on-demand kettle. I talk about it all the time. I found it by watching somebody who was doing like a Japanese vlog, and they have on-demand kettles there, and she just like can always have hot water. It's so good. It takes 4 seconds to fill it, and then tomorrow morning when I come downstairs, the kettle is ready, it is clean, and the day starts with a place of calm instead of catch up, because then I don't have to wait for the kettle to boil, because that's the last thing I want to do in the morning, and the kitchen's clean. It's perfect. Here's the thing about these habits. They only work if they're actually finished. So I mentioned the loops, right? So think about this, like you have a load of laundry that you left in the dryer unfolded. That is an open loop. A fridge audit that maybe like you were like, oh yeah, like I left these like old dishes in there or old like containers in there with food. That's an open loop. These unfinished tasks that your brain holds in active tension is draining your energy all day long, and you just don't realize it, because our brains are amazing and they can hold on to multiple things, and they don't keep everything at the forefront, but those things are there and they are stressing you out. So I made an entire video about my open loop system and how it applies to every room in your house. And people are raving over how this is life-changing. It is one of my favorite things that I've ever made, and I think you will find it genuinely changes how you think about your home. You can watch it right here. I hope something great happens for you today. Please like, subscribe, give us a hype. Stay tidy and mighty. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.